Hi, I thought it was time that I introduce myself to you a little bit and tell you a little bit about me. So I'm Marie, and I'm E.v.B Studio is my studio name, my business name, and my name site name. And everybody wants to know what that means, so I'll tell you that right away. And E.v.B are my middle initials. So my middle name is Elizabeth, and my maiden name was von Bielefeld. And when I got married, that was just a little much to hyphenate, so I just reduced it all to initials. And that's what I named my studio, and that's what I named my name site. So I thought I'd talk to you a little bit while I do some work. Right now I am finishing up a piece for an order that has to get shipped out Monday. And thought maybe if I work on this and talk to you a little bit, it can keep me from feeling not quite as nervous as sitting and like doing an interview style thing. And it also let you get a chance to see me move some clay around a little bit. First thing I wanted to address for you guys that are interested in working in clay, if you have any kind of fear that it's really messy and you're going to trash your house, don't worry about it. Because you are probably thinking about wheel work. If you saw somebody ever work on a potter's wheel and clay is splatting all over the place and on the wall and all over you, and people look like big mud men when they're done working, that's a whole different animal. What we are doing is hand building, and you can see this clay is wet enough that I can push it around, but it is not sloppy. If this clay was all sloppy and wet, this form would collapse because this is a hollow ball, and on that hollow ball what I'm doing is defining a swimmer that's kind of all tucked into a ball form, and I call these swimmer balls. And so like I said, if this clay was real wet and sloppy, it would be just a pile of mud on my table here. It would not hold its shape. So you really don't have to worry about that. And again, I know of what I speak because before I had the studio space here off-site from my house, I used to work on the coffee table in my living room. I had 2 little kids. I had 2 big dogs with big swooping tails, and it was the room that you walked in from the street through the living room. So it was, you know, I'm not Martha Stewart housekeeper anyway, but it was not like splattered mud everywhere. It was just my little space on a table. You need about this much space. You don't need a lot of room. It doesn't make a big slop. So if you're weary about working with this stuff, don't be. And if you're working with air dry clay, same thing. So if you have access to a kiln and you can work with traditional clay, have a place you can bring that to get it fired, that's what you're going to see me working with more, although I'm going to get some air dry so I can have that and have that hands-on experience to answer questions or things too. But it's going to handle so much the same way. You just don't have to fire it when you're done. Just do it, because I'll tell you what, I didn't do my first clay piece until I was 40. I actually got to do a piece for my 40th birthday, and I so fell in love because more than finding a new medium to work with, I found a muse. I found a medium that could get into my head, and it could let things that were in my head get out of my hands. And there's a lot of people that I've talked to that work in clay that have had that same experience. So you don't know, you might be one of those people, and it'd be really exciting and really cool. So like I said, this is a quick little intro. I wanted to say hi. I wanted you guys to have a person to relate to with the E.v.B Studio Home site. There's workshops that I have in my head that are going to be offered. The first Saturday mini shops are going to be so cool because they're small. There are always projects that are going to be under 3-4 inches in size, so they're small projects. So if your mobility is a little less, if your space is a little less, if you're not just willing to get real daring and try and work big, these are perfect for you. They're going to let you do really cool things, like we're doing hearts for February. In March, we are going to do flowers, like spring bulbs is what I call them. And so they're really organic, and they're kind of off of the idea of a bulb, like a tulip bulb that's starting to sprout. Those things are going to be the first Saturday of every month something new, $10 to participate. And I think you're going to love them. You'll get a PDF step by step. You'll get photos and or a video, depending on what I can squeeze in, and to be able to see what's going on. And you'll have a whole month. That PDF will stay up for 30 days. It'll stay up until the next one goes up. So that's a great way to introduce yourself to clay. to touch it, to play with it, to find out what is so cool about it. And you're going to think it's cool. I know you're going to think it's cool. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'm going to do a couple other videos, let you see my environment, my space a little bit more of my work. There'll be videos that go with the narrative tile, narrative self-portrait and the relief tiles. It's just lots to get done, and in the midst of all this, I also work full-time here on my work and get things done, and I'm traveling to Orlando in February, and so there's a lot going on, so bear with me. I'm going to move it all as fast as I can, try to keep it all as copacetic as possible, and I look forward to working with you guys, and hearing how many people are just loving clay is going to make my day. So take care and explore. Bye-bye.